Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ina and today I decided to do a more relaxed type of video. Basically, it's gonna be updates about the things that I showed you before, about some of my hauls, some of the cuttings that I received, what happened to them, if I'm being successful with them or not. As you can see here in front of me, I have my Hoyas. I have good news about them. Soon I may show you what I'm gonna do with them soon in another video, but now today what I have in here, it's a very good update. Oh my gosh, this is very wet. I don't know if it's possible to see from the distance, but I have here my Hoya Sunrise that has more than double its size from when I potted this tiny pot. The pot is full of roots. I also have here my Hoya. Oh my gosh, where is the tag? Oh, I lost the tag. Okay, anyway, I placed the name down below. It didn't double its size, but my friend Kiara gave me more cuttings. So now I have a pot full of them. But the ones that I potted back then, they are growing. I have here new leaves sprouting on the top of them, and I know that we have roots because, I don't know if you can see from the distance, but the bottom of the pot, the tag is here, is Hoya lacunosa, is full of roots. So this one rooted very well as well. Now I have here these lowing ones. So these ones, they don't grow so fast compared to the other ones. So I have here the Royal Rotundiflora. So far, I can't see any new leaves or any new growths, but I can see some roots on the pot. I hope the camera will focus right, but I will try to do some close-ups as well. So as you can see, we have some roots growing here. This one can easily stay on this tiny pot for a while. I feel that it won't be a problem. The fourth one that I had was Hoya Cortesii. So I have roots here. This one, I think it's easier to see. I have roots here. This one is Hoya Cortesii. As you can see, we have some roots growing on the pot. It also grows slowly compared to the other two Hoyas, the first two. So I have a root here. I have some new leaves here on the top. So yeah, I have a little bit of things going on, like these new leaves here and some roots, but it's much slower than the Hoya Sunrise and the Hoya lacunosa. I'm gonna give you some close-ups of all of them. The good news is that my Hoya Thompsonii that I thought I would lose, because I ended up having only one tiny cutting. It rooted for me, and I potted now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, you survive. If it survives, I'll show you later this year. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do soon, I will repot this one, because I can see that this one needs to be repotted immediately, and probably I'll repot this one as well because it's becoming completely full of algae. So I will need to do something about it. But for now, they are doing super well. So now I have here 3 cattleyas that I bought from Laurence Hobbs Orchids here in the UK. I will leave their website linked down below. It is basically Laurence and Hobbs. They are a nursery, a well-known nursery here in the UK. In January, I asked him about some orchids that I saw on his website that were quite cheap, and he said he had them, but they need some TLC. So anyway, I decided to give it a go, and I bought 3 orchids. I think it was only 3. I was looking around now, but I can't find any other one. So I do believe it's these 3 orchids here. So I repot them with you guys, but I also mentioned that I'm not really good with cattleyas. I hope you remember that. I'm not very lucky. I'm trying to balance better my median because I want to have some cattleyas blooms, more cattleyas blooms soon. Anyway, enough blab. I know that I'm digressing, but these are my 3 plants today. I don't have like the most amazing update, but I don't know which one. I'm going to start with the better one. That's this one. I think they are tagged correctly. This one is the RLC Taiwan Morning Call Easter Bunny. It's a cross between Morning Call with China something beauty. So I don't know if you remember, they didn't have any roots. We have some growths, but they were very dehydrated, and I could see they have problems, issues. This one is the best one because I don't know if you can see from there. Again, I tried to give some close-ups, but what you can see here is I have a new growth here. This new growth pushed some roots, which is perfect, great, and that they are inside the median. I have also here on the other side as well a new growth, and also has very long roots, which is perfect because soon these roots will be able to hydrate this plant and it will look much better than it is today. So I'm very hopeful with this one. I'm so happy. I think I will save this one, hopefully. So yes, so I have here 1, 2, 3. I have like 6 health roots. So what I'm gonna do now is probably I will spray a little bit these ones on the top. But so far so good. This one is the best one out of the 3. So this one, I think in the middle of the video while I was reporting them, one of the growths just fell from my hands, and I had to re-report it, I think, or I don't remember. I know that something happened with the growths. I think they separate themselves. Something happened in that reporting. One of the growths, the one that was not attached to this one anymore, just rotten, and it's completely dead now. So I don't have that growth anymore. I just remove it from here because actually it was not connected to this one, by the way. So there was nothing that I could do. I'm hopeful because I can see green. I have one new growth. It's the same new growth that I had that was sprouting back then. It's a very tiny new growth. It's expected because we don't have enough energy to keep this new baby growing. Let me just look into the median here. Can't see roots or anything. Oh yeah, I can. Oh, unfortunately one root was coming out, but I can see the tip is completely dead, it's burned. And there is something else coming down there. But I don't know. If this one doesn't push any roots soon, I don't know if it will survive or not. I don't know. I could put something like a dome on top of it to increase humidity, but I don't want to do it because I've done that with another orchid and I wasn't successful. In the end, everything when I tried to bring this back, everything was dead. But again, there is another new growth sprouting from the back bulb here. Let's see what happens. I don't know. The thing is very fragile, so it can survive, but also has a big chance of not surviving. I have so many orchids that I try to save until now, and also some cattleyas as well and back bulbs. Sometimes they look like they will survive, but they simply die off. So I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what I'm left with. By the way, this one is Cattleya Taiwan Morning Coal. Let's see what happens with this one. The last one here. This one has 4 growths, which is good, especially talking about energy. It's a rootless orchid, so again, very good to have 4 growths. I have 1 new growth here. I think this was already sprouting when I report this plant, and I remember being scared of reporting it there because I know how Cattleya's roots are sensitive to reporting, and I was scared of losing it, but it's not dead. Looks like it's dead, looking up here. But when I look inside, actually the root is growing. And there is 1 new root here as well. So actually the new growth has 2 roots, which is not that bad. So I hope you remember that I told you that I wasn't good with cattleyas. So it's not a miracle, but it's been what, 2 months, I think. And for 2 months, I think it's okay. I mean, that one, the first one grew very well. And this one, it's a little bit slower. And the tiny one is the one that I'm the most scared about. But more than that, the pot's pretty wet now. Don't need to report for probably for 2 weeks. So that's all. That's all that I need to show you. And to conclude my update, I have here 4 orchids that I bought in that tragical haul that I've done with the private seller, that the plants were pretty sick, full of pests, and all of these issues. So anyway, I think they are all clean. I left these plants isolated. I think I updated you on that video anyway, and I pot them up. I bought them very close to the ones from Laurence Hobbs, but to be honest, they are growing quite nicely compared to what they were. They were in pretty bad state. So I start with the best one. That's the biggest one. Let me put these ones here for a second. So the bigger one is the cattleya that arrived with a flower spike that died. I knew it would happen because anyway. I have here a bulb that is drying out as well, which is fine. It's the oldest bulb. I noticed that the leaves are yellowish, but I do think that's because it doesn't have, probably is lacking nutrient. It was almost rootless, and it's a big plant, so needs a lot to survive. But let me show you something really nice. I have a big root growing here, and I have another one coming to the air here. So these roots, they are coming from the newest growth, and the newest growth is pushing out a new pseudobulb as well. So although it's not looking like, oh, the most amazing plant yet, it's still struggling, and it's a big plant. But as you can see, I do have roots. So I find it like, hey, I think I'm gonna save this one. And I'm so happy because I paid a lot for these plants, much more than what they were. So I don't have the ID. I do believe this one is one of these big fluffy cattleya type orchids. It's in a very bright spot. So I'm keeping it well hydrated. I'm babying it a little bit. Hopefully it will be fine soon. Next one, I'm gonna go with this one. It's a smaller one. It's saying here no ID. I think I have only the ID of one of them. I'm not sure. Again, I have some completely rotten bulbs here. Like this is completely rotten. Fortunately, it was a new growth here. The new growth is rotten. This one is also dead. I need to remove that. At some point I will do. I'm waiting for it to sprout more roots because I don't want to disturb it too much, especially when we have new root growing. I have to be really careful with them. I don't want them to stop growing. Don't stop growing, please. I don't know. I think out of all of these ones, this one is the one that I don't feel so confident about because the roots are tiny, and I can see that one of the root tips it's burnt, I think. So I'm scared that they won't keep growing, but let's see, fingers crossed. So far I can see that only one growth survived. That's this one. That's actually produced 2 roots, but I don't see any new growth sprouting yet. So anyway, that's another no ID. And it's full of completely rotten bulbs. Oh, before I continue this video, someone left a comment on the video, the tragic haul, saying that you can also remove scales with alcohol. The reason why I don't have alcohol here is, I know that's not any alcohol. There is the alcohol that you can use to kill pests. But the reason why I'm not using alcohol is that find alcohol here in the UK, it's a little difficult. Probably you have to buy it online, and I found the leaf shine available everywhere. But something that I'm looking for, especially if I can just rub, part of the plant, I think maybe alcohol it's easier. I will definitely look for it. Thank you for your tip. So here I have another one that probably it's saying Cattleya rose escuro, but it may not be, because I remember not knowing for sure which one was the rose escuro. So maybe the other one is the rose escuro. We will have to have blooms to confirm that. This one was coming out of the pot. That's my fault. No, wasn't this one. Sorry, was the other one. I have here a root coming. Very healthy root, by the way, different from the other one. You can see when the root is healthy. So I can see that the root is very healthy, and I have a new growth here and a new growth here. So basically I have a new growth here as well. So full of new growths coming. I think that's a good sign. So I think this one, it's another one that will be saved for sure. And it's clean of pests as well. And this one is the one that was coming out of the pot, and that's my fault. But also has one health root here. I don't see any new growths. This one is the one that has a tag. This one is BC Barbara Bell Apricot. It's for sure BC Barbara Bell Apricot. So they are all clean. They don't look beautiful or anything like that, but they are clean from pests now. They are growing, they are producing roots, they're pushing out roots. The only one that I'm a little bit concerned is the one that I told you that there are no new growths coming, and the one of the roots doesn't look healthy. But the others, they are all fine. Oh, it's good, thanks God. At least I'm not losing all of them. But the problem with this, when you buy TLC plants, especially if they are not discounted, is that the time for you to see these plants blooming, you don't have a time scale for them. You don't know how they will react. Sometimes you need to baby them much more. You need to give them more care, and probably the new growths will be tiny and they won't be able to bloom. And if your cattleya, it's a seasonal one or one that produces one growth per year, so it's going to take several years for you to see your plant mature enough to bloom. You have to have lots of patience. Usually that's why these plants usually are discounted. So if you decided to buy a plant that needs TLC, keep that in mind, that it may take much more time and patience for you to see these plants healthy and mature. I'm a little bit crazy. I have a lot of plants that need TLC and they are still recouping. But now I think I have enough. Until I have all of these plants well, mature, completely saved, I'm not getting TLC plants. I think I need some break from them because literally I have loads of them. Anyway, I'm happy that these are much better than when I bought them, but I wouldn't do it again. That was my fault, as I mentioned on that video, because I didn't say no. But at least I'm happy that they are growing and I think they will survive. I have hope for them. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed my updates. It was specifically focused on the holes and on the plants that I reported here and I showed you. If you want to see anything else, any house plants or any orchid content, please let me know in the comments down below. I would be super happy to respond to your comments or questions or anything that you want to tell me. I think that was all for today. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, I usually post on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I also post lots of pictures and videos on Instagram. And by subscribing to my channel, you helped me a lot. Actually helped me to create more content for this platform. So if you feel like you would like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button down below. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.